Hello and welcome to this edition of Mornings. I'm Alexa Duffy.
And I'm Lauren Schwartz. Today is Tuesday, November 25th, and it's a C Day here at North Penn High School. Mr. Brumbaugh tests your Thanksgiving knowledge in this week's Brumbaugh Challenge.
Hey, welcome to this week's Thanksgiving Brumbaugh Challenge. Are you ready? Here goes. What department store started the oldest Thanksgiving Day parade in the country? The answer when we get back.
FBLA member Oscar Armas-Louie was recently recognized for an outstanding achievement. Chris Makoviak has more.
So I've always loved business, and what really excited me about FBLA was an environment where everyone loved business as much as I did, and everyone was just so driven to learn more and succeed, and those are the type of people that I wanted to be around.
North Penn High School senior Oscar Armas-Louie has always held a passion for the aspects of the business world. The 2014-2015 FBLA president rides that passion each day, and now the senior will implement his knowledge on the national stage. Armas-Louie was recently selected to be on the FBLA National President's Council as the program's director.
I was really excited to get the position of programs director because FBLA has given me so much over the years, and it was awesome to be able to give back to the organization and make it a great experience for all the new members. I work directly with the organization's leadership to create post-high school and extracurricular opportunities for our members to help them further themselves professionally and in their chosen careers.
Armas-Louie continues his position as the North Penn FBLA president and enjoys seeing his drive for the business world in the members of the North Penn chapter. Along with workplace applications, the senior emphasizes that he has learned much more than business strategies over the years in FBLA.
If there was one thing that members could take away from being a part of FBLA, I'd say that if you work hard and you bring passion to everything you do, you can make your dreams come true.
Reporting for North Penn News, I'm Chris Makoviak.
North Penn High School recently recognized 8 of its outstanding athletes for signing letters of intent. 3 of these students committed to LaSalle University: Jared Malone for baseball, Olivia DiStefano for swimming, and Emily Schultz for lacrosse. 2 athletes signed for Kutztown University: Michaela Bowman for lacrosse and Taylor Thames for girls basketball. In addition, Sydney Lear will play lacrosse for Queen's University of Charlotte, Marissa Elizardo will play field hockey for Bryant University, and Madison Tanis will be diving for Findlay University. Congratulations and best of luck to these senior athletes with their Division I and II signings.
I was also looking at university.
As part of the celebrations for American Education Week, community members and North Penn supporters took a tour of the North Penn School District on the Bus to the Future. The participants had the chance to tour Pembroke Middle School, Montgomery Elementary School, the NPSD Transportation Department, North Penn High School, and the North Monco Technical Career Center. The visitors enjoyed performances from the Pembroke Orchestra, Chorus, and Jazz Band, as well as the North Penn High School Marching Knights, Drumline, and Chamber Choir.
Congratulations to the 15 North Penn High School students who were chosen by audition over the weekend for this year's district chorus. These students will participate in a 3-day festival at Abington High School in January, where they will have the opportunity to advance to regional chorus.
Mr. Wilson is here to make you laugh in this week's I Know Funny.
Good morning, I'm Mr. Wilson. Time for the joke of the day. A horse enters a bar. Bartender says, "Hey." The horse says, "Sure." I'm Mr. Wilson. That was the joke of the day.
Dan Sardera is here with the Night Crier update.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Night Crier update. I'm Dan Sardera. Right after the Thanksgiving break, the boys basketball team kicks off their season with their first annual Midnight Madness game. To find out more about it, read Evan Hayes' story. And how up to date are you on your headlines? To help you stay informed, we have our weekly international headlines to keep you updated on what's going on in the world. Also on the site, look out for profiles on some of the most interesting people in this school, including some of your favorite teachers and classmates. Don't forget to visit our webpage, nightcrier.org, for all news North Penn related. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Dan Sardero. This has been the Night Crier Update.
The North Penn High School theater students took center stage this past weekend as they performed their fall play, Once in a Lifetime. There were 4 performances of the comedy put on by the theater students, including a matinee on Sunday. Once in a Lifetime detailed the journey of 3 cohorts as they attempt to hit it big in Hollywood as audio enters the film industry in the 1920s. The students now will look forward to their preparation for their performance of the musical Titanic in the spring.
Mr. Monero is here with members of the JROTC. Mr. Monero?
Thank you very much, Lauren. Good morning, North Penn High School. I'm here with Christian Aristizabal and Chase Childs from ROTC. And guys, it's the holiday season. People eat a lot more. Maybe they're inside. The days are over at like 5:30. It's pitch black. We got to stay in good shape, right? So what do we have?
All right, so if you're not doing anything during the day and you want to stay active, I advise you to come out to ROTC PT. It's open to the entire school, so we want everybody to come along, and we track your progress throughout the year.
Now, you guys in ROTC, you like to use a lot of letters to abbreviate things. Can you just tell us what PT stands for, just so we know?
PT stands for physical training.
Very good. Christian, what else you have?
It's every Monday after a full day of school from 2:45 to 4 o'clock, and we meet up at room H4. That's across from the girls' locker room.
All right, so ROTC is sponsoring and hosting this physical training, but anybody can participate, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So if you guys want to stay in good shape, you want to get your heart rate up a little bit, these guys right here are going to do that for you. What kind of things do you do during physical training?
Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, mile run, variations of those exercises.
All right, good stuff. So H4 on Monday afternoons. All right, check it out. Back to you guys.
One North Penn student got to meet President Obama after his amazing achievement. Tiffany Liebel has more.
Jonathan Okaczynski is quite an amazing 9th grader. He is interested in science and is absolutely fascinated with a phenomenon called quantum entanglement.
Well, I like to browse around libraries, and I was just browsing around the library one day, and I found a book called Entanglement by Mira Axel, and that was at the completion of last year's science fair project, which I did on batteries, and my mom said that I should do something a little bit more complicated, and this book covered all sorts of quantum phenomenon, including entanglement, and I found it very interesting. It was just kind of like a different phenomenon that you would not be able to see in everyday life. And it was very useful because you could do things like quantum teleportation and true random number generation with it.
The 12-year-old's parents encouraged him, but he had to receive some adult support.
I think both my parents thought I was kind of crazy because neither of my parents have a background in this sort of area. But between like a lot of Googling, some help from mentors and books, I was able to learn a lot. Back at Penfield, Mr. Testa has been very generous and allowed me access to come in to work on, to cut some of this stuff, like these pieces, at his shop. And Mrs. Maurer was also very helpful and helped me write a grant application to help fund this. But besides that, all the work is pretty much done in my basement.
Quantum entanglement wasn't the first project that Okaczynski tackled. The last project he entered into a competition was on rechargeable batteries.
I noticed that my mom's smartphone battery kept getting lower and lower over time. It seemed to last for shorter periods of time. So I thought that I would research different compositions and how they affect one another. And so what I did was I looked up and tested a bunch of different factors and then made a weighted score for each of them to kind of create a total score. And I found that by changing which one of the factors was most important, I could easily change which one would be the best battery.
In addition to being selected as one of the top 12 students in the competition, the Penfield Middle School student placed second in the STEM Mathematics Awards category. He not only received these honors, but he met President Barack Obama.
They weren't allowed to tell us beforehand, so they said that we were going for makeup photo shoots, and then we were going to go to the National Air and Space Museum. But then they told us on the bus that we were going to the White House, and everybody was very happy. It was very exciting. They took us in, and then President Obama came in, made a speech, shook our hands. It was very fun. There were a lot of jokes in his speech. I think that was what struck me most. I think his jokes kind of broke the tension because some of the kids seemed tense, but after his speech, nobody really seemed that tense anymore. And we introduced ourselves and said where we were from. It was very exciting.
While in D.C., he took part in many different activities that were put together for all of those participating in the Broadcom Masters competition.
Well, we spent most of the time there working on these like STEM challenges that were organized for us. So some of them were like, we had like an Alka-Seltzer like bottle cap rocket that you had to figure out like how much weight you would add to make it go to what height and then set like for a target height. There was one where we had to make like a roller coaster for a marble with like 3 vertical loops in it and a lot of different fun activities.
Through his experience, Okazinski remains humble, saying that there were some areas that were experimentally not very good in his project, so he plans on continuing his work. In the future, he wishes to continue studying science, although he is not sure which field he wants to pursue. Nevertheless, his love of the subject will propel him to succeed in whatever field he chooses. Reporting for North Penn Television, I'm Tiffany Liebel.
Mr. Monero is back with Mr. Hines to talk about a survey about school start times for North Penn High School students. Mr. Monero?
Thank you very much, Lauren. Once again, good morning, North Penn High School. I'm here with Mr. Hines this morning. We're talking about something very different today, or at least just exploring the possibility of something very different in terms of flexible school start and end times. Mr. Hines, why don't you tell us all about that?
It's strictly in the concept stage. We're not looking to change start times per se, but we're looking for some flexibility for students. We began this idea a few years ago when we opened up no school period 1 as a late arrival option for seniors. And that's worked relatively well. Generally, the folks do what we're asking them to do. They get here, they sign in, and we've pretty much perfected that process. So what we're looking at is, should we expand that to underclassmen? Should we be looking at sophomores and juniors? In order for that to happen, for students to have a flexible start time and thus a late arrival, they'd also have to have a flexible end time. So rather than starting period 1 and running through period 8, we're looking at the idea of what if some students started in period 2 and ran through a period at the end of the day. We already have 9th period, we have 10th period for some seniors, so I haven't figured out what we're going to call it yet, but I'm in the process of working on options for the program of studies for the coming school year. And in that process, I'm looking to see if it's feasible to offer a flexible start time for underclassmen. What would need to happen? First of all, you would need to have your own transportation. The school busing is not going to change. If you were an athlete, you would need to stay with the current existing schedule. But the idea is, what if we opened it up and had period 9 through something that ran till maybe 3 o'clock or 3:15 or even 3:30, ran the entire day like that, and transportation would be on students. We could have something flexible that would allow for it to be 5 days a week or maybe 4 days a week or 3 days a week. Right now, we're conducting a survey just to determine any interest, and it's a feasibility survey to determine, are you interested? Should we consider looking at this as an option? Should we not consider it at all? Should we look at it as a pilot program? So that's what this survey is about, and you can tell them about how they can access the survey.
All right, good. So a lot of new ideas, good stuff. Always thinking about change here. Change is good. We have 3 great places to access the survey. 1 is the Daily Bulletin, 2 is the North Penn High School main page, and 3 is, of course, on the main page at nightcrier.org. In fact, it's the top story on there right now. You just click the link and you can go on. There's a little bit of information to read through, as you just saw on your screen, and you can also click to vote, or not to vote, but to cast your opinion for the survey. So a lot of possibilities, open to 9th grade students to be able to get on there as well, 8th grade students, and of course anybody here at North Penn High School. Anything else?
That'll be it.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Back to the desk.
Let's check in with Mr. Brumbaugh to find out the answer to this week's Brumbaugh Challenge.
Hey, welcome back. The answer you've all been waiting for. It's not Macy's, but the oldest Thanksgiving Day parade in the country was started by Gimbel's in Philadelphia. And when Gimbel's went out of business, they still hold Thanksgiving Day parades in Philadelphia every year, sponsored by other companies. Bet you didn't know that? Now you do. Thanks for playing this week's Brumbaugh Challenge, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
The winner of the Brumbaugh Challenge is Mrs. McGinley.
That is all for this edition of Mornings. I'm Alexa Duffy.
And I'm Lauren Schwartz. As the winter season approaches, make sure to follow at MPSD on Twitter for school closing alerts. Have a happy Thanksgiving, North Penn.